One of the trends that we're seeing are people are able to purchase a piece of property and they might not have experience with that part of the county or with that property. And so a tendency is to go in and clear it out. And so before you do that, we always advocate, take your time, learn about the property, do your research. You can talk to Texas Parks and Wildlife biologists and make an informed decision about how you want your property to look and how you want your property to function ecologically. We're standing in front of a grassland today, but that's not necessarily the end-all be-all for all habitat types in all ranches and all parts of Texas. And so if you're in East Texas, the goal is not to create an open grassland, it's to create a healthy forest. Should this be a post oak savanna with big expanses of grasses marked with mottes of trees? Similarly, if you're in the high plains up in the Panhandle, it's going to look very different than this. Every part of Texas is going to have a different ideal habitat, and so it's up to you to decide what do you want that property to look like and what is the end desired result. An important part of reading the land is identifying how much cover you have. So when you are thinking about cover, we have to think about lots of different types of cover. There's escape cover, where an animal can escape from predators. There's feeding cover, where they can feel comfortable looking for food. And then there's breeding cover, where they can find mates. And so one way to do that is by imagining that you are the size of that critter or you are at the level of their predator. So one thing I like to do is think about different sized sports balls as metaphors for different sized animals. So this might be a full-grown quail. This might be a mouse or a rat that feeds so many of our native Texas wildlife. And so the question is, what happens when I throw this ball? If I can see this ball from 60 or 100 yards away, you probably don't have enough cover to hide that animal to do all the things it needs to do on your property. If it disappears, then that animal has enough cover to escape a predator at our level and our size. It's not all about ground cover. Even songbirds will use different parts of trees. So you have the upper canopy or the very tops of trees. You have the mid-level canopy, that middle part of the tree. And so we have ground cover. What does 0 to say 8 feet look like? And different species prefer different parts of that vegetative structure. So you might have some birds like cardinals and painted buntings, they're really going to hang out in that 0 to 10 feet range. That's where they're going to nest. Some birds, like hawks and owls, really going to use that upper canopy.
Sometimes you can have too much cover. If your goal is to have a grassland, you may need to dramatically reduce the woody cover on your property so that it can be replaced by a grassland that provides the right kind and amount of cover with a diversity of plant species. And it's not one and done. Several other habitat management practices over several more years will be necessary to establish and maintain the habitat type right for your goals and ecosystem. This is true of any type of habitat. Restoration can take many years, and maintaining that habitat over time will be necessary. Aldo Leopold's tools for habitat management, the axe, the plow, the cow, fire, and the gun, are used in all the ecoregions of the state. How and when each tool is used vary in each ecoregion, and even differ within ecoregions, depending on the unique conditions of each property and the goals of each landowner. The key for landowners is to take the time to consider the goals of their property and carefully evaluate their land before taking any action. There are Texas Parks and Wildlife biologists assigned to every county in Texas. They are ready to advise landowners about all the management options available to develop a habitat management plan. Biologists may also be able to suggest programs and nonprofits that could help provide funding for projects on their property. To find your local Texas Parks and Wildlife biologist, see the video description below.